Hi everyone, I am Rebecca from ChemKnits, and let's leave no dye behind. I've got a warm dye bath, and I'm going to just sort of plop in 2 dry skeins of Dyer Supplier, 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. These skeins are still as they were when they were commercially twisted. I did poke on some zip ties so that way I'll have a little easier time later on once we go and untwist them. But this water is warm and has some vinegar in it, but I'm just going to start pouring on some leftover dye from making dye stocks and whatnot earlier today. Now obviously these colors are spreading out some. They will likely combine. Got more of a similar color. They will likely combine on the bottom edge, but I am planning on layering more dye on top as this goes along. So this is really just sort of a start. I believe this one in the middle was navy, so I think it will look a little less purple as time goes on maybe, but actually this looks pretty cool so far. But yeah, that was just the start of some of this leftover. I don't think I'm going to heat anything up. I think I'm just going to let it sit for a little bit, and then we'll check back in. Alright, it's been, goodness, I'm not sure if it's been like 15 minutes or so, but we clearly need more water. I will be adding a lot more dye. I was just kind of curious. Now if I pour water on top of this, that's a bunch of water that didn't even have any vinegar in it. But it looks like that these colors are sort of staying, which is interesting. I guess there was some vinegar in the yarn because there was vinegar in the pan that I had picked up. But yeah, I think that that was, we got some really cool patterns on the yarn from just pouring that over. Now of course this is probably not the most balanced kind of pattern because you can see like we've got a lot of color on one section and then none in the middle, but we are going to be layering just a lot of color onto this yarn, and so I am excited. Let's start heating it up. Now at this time of filming, I am now a Dyer Supplier affiliate. So if you'd like to learn more about this yarn base or any of the other materials that I'm using in this video, you can find affiliate links in the video description. While we're heating up, let's add some more vinegar. 1, 2, 3, whoops. A little over 4 probably, if that splash made it in. All of the water and everything that I'm using thus far is stuff that was left over from like a pre-soak or another project. I actually really like this pattern that's going on here, but that's not what's in store for this yarn. I have a lot of little squeeze bottles filled with miscellaneous acid dyes of basically unknown colors, unknown concentrations, and we're going to layer these onto this yarn and see what we create. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm glad that we have sort of this base, almost lavender now, just from the way that this worked out. But once we start seeing some bubbles, we'll come and start layering on these colors. Alright, I hope I don't just mess this up, but we can always over dye. I think first this color, yeah, this might be like a Tangelo. But yeah, we've got some Tangelo. I'm assuming that actually like looks really nice with this. So I'm sort of having more down at one end than the other. I am going to save this so that way I could do more with it towards the end. Let's see what we have here. I'm assuming Yeah, we've got some like full-on red. This is likely fire engine red. I have no idea what this color is. And I am adding it across and I still have no idea what it is. Maybe it's like a navy or a purple. I'm gonna save some for when we like move things around. Or like flip it to the other side. All right, I've got a tiny bit of some blue. That used most of it. Now I have some, I'm not sure what you are. Maybe navy. That's kind of fun. And lastly, I have what I believe is some leftover jacquard pink. Oh, this is real dilute. But anyway, I am just adding that a little bit all over. So I like to say this in a lot of the videos, but these two skeins have a lot in common, but they're definitely going to be sort of a complementary set versus identical, because one side could have the amount of pigment will be fairly balanced, but they will both be semi-repeating and so therefore will look different. But let's see, I think, goodness, a lot of this has absorbed already. There's definitely still some color down there, but I'm going to go ahead and flip right now. We're not even going to wait. Okay. Oh. I'm using these reusable zip ties on the yarn for many reasons, but one of the reasons why I love them is that it really does help with flipping and stuff for the yarn. But I found that maybe after a lot of washes, some of the threads tend to get a little bit weaker, just a little bit. All right, I think this is our more orangey side. Put a little down there. Make sure we go on towards that inside. Okay. Hanging back with a tiny bit. Okay, here was our, I think we did blue down there. But that's about all we've got of that anyway. Let's do some reds here in the middle. So also towards those edges. I could also rinse these out. That is definitely an option if you need more pigment. We might be pretty good. I have no idea what this color really is. And oh, that's a glob. These bottles will need some rinsing. Okay, I've held back a little bit on some of those colors. One of them definitely I think was one of them was some like mixture of a bunch of colors that I just saved, but of course I didn't label them because, you know, that would have been smart or helpful. Okay, I'm going to hang back a little bit. I've got a little bit of that orange, a little bit what I think is a navy, and I am going in with some of this pink, but maybe I'll save, well, nope, I used that. But we just have these colors layered on, and yeah, there's a lot of color in here right now. So I'm going to turn up the heat a little bit, and we'll come back in 10 minutes and maybe move things around and see if there's anywhere else I want to add any pigment. We have a tiny bit of dye left, but let's move this around and see. Yeah, I think I've got a tie right here. Definitely want a little more color in there. There's this tie. All right, there's our Tangelo. I think it was Tangelo. Yeah, so here, near another tie, let's go in with our mystery friend. Oh, we're getting some bleeding. Yeah, I think that was navy. I think so. I mean, I think that this is really pretty. Definitely not what we started with, not like in any respect, but I think that we have something that is going to feel like fun and watercolory, and yeah, I'm just, trying not to splash, but just checking for balance. And when I say, oh, I'm checking for balance, I'm checking for, is there good color coverage? You know, is there anywhere that I feel like I wish had a little more color? But this is really, really pretty. Oh dear. And warm. I am going to turn off the heat at this point. It is nice and hot in here. And I'm going to let this cool completely in the pot so we can absorb some more. We can absorb a little bit more color. It can set it, but slowly. Some of the colors mixed for this video were mixed today, the ones that I started with, but others are definitely months old. I know a few of those little bottles I mixed up as part of the, I think it was March ChemKnits dye-along, when I was inspired by the aquarium white. And some of these may have even been older than that. But I am really excited by this sort of pinkish purple watercolor effect we've got going on. I'm gonna allow a little clear dish soap. The yarn has cooled completely and our dye bath is clear. I'm using lukewarm water, mainly because the temp is super, super cold today. But these colors are beautiful, and all of that color is in the yarn. So now I am going to rinse out the soap, put these through my spin dryer, and then hang it up to dry. This yarn is beautiful. I absolutely, absolutely love randomly layering on colors onto yarn. I love this watercolor feel, this non-repeating colorway. Sure, we have areas that are more blue and areas that are more red. In both of the skeins we have that. But overall, there is a randomness to them, which I think is beautiful and fun. I always like to give this disclaimer with this technique because we have these two skeins that are the same dye lot. I dyed them at the exact same time with the exact same dyes, but the skeins themselves are not identical. So if you wanted to use both in one project and have it feel a little more balanced, alternate skeins every couple of rounds. The Dyer Supplier yarn base that I use in this video is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. It fluffs up and becomes so bouncy and lofty through the dyeing process, and I absolutely love how it looks. It's definitely not a high twist yarn. Its twist feels very similar to their 75-25 sock yarn. It's just the nylon and merino contents are different because they know that some people prefer slightly different proportions. So thank you, Dyer Supplier, for sending me this yarn base for free to test out. I'm really enjoying playing with it. Once again, I am now a Dyer Supplier affiliate, and so if you want to use my link, it's in the video description. And if you do, I will earn a commission off of sales purchased through that. However, you are obviously under no obligation to use my link at any point. I am Rebecca from ChemKnits, and I hope you enjoyed this little episode of Leave No Dye Behind. I always save leftover dye because you never know when it could come in useful for a project like this. And having small amounts of even random mystery colors can really help add depth and dimension and texture into a yarn. So while the colors are ultimately fairly subtle overall. There is just so much depth that it'll give even a simple project beautiful, beautiful texture. Subscribe, like, turn on notifications, leave a comment below, and let me know what you thought. If you love the kind of yarn that I create and want to have some of your own to knit and play with, or crochet or weave, go and check out the ChemKnits Creations Etsy store. My shop is filled with over 100 skeins of hand-dyed yarn featured in these videos. Some of the yarn makes it into the shop before the videos have been published, so it's a great way to get a little sneak peek of what might be coming up on the channel. Thank you so much for watching, everyone.